I have good news and I have good news. Nothing will ever be the same again. It never can. We are now in a new timeline, one that exists that could transform the planet in the most amazing way, and I'm seeing that. Are you? Let's talk about what's going to happen in 2024. Why am I naming that year? If you've watched my videos in the past, I have actually predicted big shifts. Not exactly what would happen, but actual shifts. That was just pre-COVID, and all of these things have occurred. I want to talk about 2024. It's critical and it's nothing to fear, but you need to hear this. Let's go. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through those fears and live an amazing life. Everything rests on what you believe and you think at every moment. Everything. We're going into that fifth dimension. What is that? We're going into psychic powers and the quantum field outside of the physical realms. That's all it means. You don't stop being a human being, or their physical world doesn't completely dissolve. It shifts, it changes, and time, materials, and everything becomes malleable. In other words, everything is possible. That's happening now, and you may be feeling it. We are so open now to the possibilities that we just don't know very much about that quantum space that's all intelligent. But we do know one thing, and we hear it over and over again. Thoughts are things. We're creating that reality, that future as a collective. Now you could go into a completely enlightened state and go into the most amazing transformation, while others go to you-know-what in a handbasket, and still share the collective. We have 2 years, now it's 2022, but we're coming up on the tail end of that. 2024 is going to be critical. Why? We go through cycles and shifts. 2024 is another tipping point. Right now you're going to see a lot of things happen. You know, we have our health issues, we have conflict, we have all these things. It's the crap that bubbles up to the top that we need to skim off. But what's going to happen is 2024 is when we have that going to the surface, and we're going to have to skim it off. Nothing that happens between now and then you have to concern yourself about. What we can do right now, if you want to create that peace in your life, is to know that 2024 is going to be a tipping point for the things that haven't been working. Why? Because we realize they aren't. We're taking action. We're getting rid of plastic. We're understanding how much we're poisoning ourselves, and that cancer just doesn't happen, or pandemics just don't happen. We're creating all of it. We're going to the root and the foundations of that. We're having to rethink how we live, what we consume, and we're actually taking charge of that. So there's a great percentage of people out there who are actually shifting their lives completely. I'm not talking about going off grid. I'm talking about dealing with where they are right now and saying we can clean up this right here instead of running away from it. It's impossible. We actually know that now, right? You don't run away from anything. There's new things that we have to deal with out there. We have to deal with the fact that we have to clean up what we've created to this point, and that is the great tipping point and the great awakening and transformation that says, now I know what I am and I respect everything else. And there is a cause and effect that we have to unwind, and we will learn from that too. And it's okay. You have to be part of the unwind between now and 2024, when the new things start to come into play. We're talking about the financial markets. We're talking about health. We're talking about conflict amongst one another. We're going to have bigger shifts, because some of these things are going to be flowing easily, nicely, and we're going to like giving up things that don't work, or especially with health, we're going to see things transition into much healthier ways that maybe you haven't been able to talk about because it sounds like woo-woo, and it's going to be more of the everyday way that we handle our health, okay? There are going to be ways for us to take care of one another with all these systems where some people suffer greatly and others have privileges. That's going to balance out without anybody having to really give up anything. And I'm not talking about going into some big, control kind of platform. I'm talking about real freedom. We're not going to be fighting for anything anymore. We're going to be creating new communities. We're going to go into more community-based living. In other words, we're going to realize that, like the United States, for example, how can one rule apply to all of us? It's impossible, and it's ridiculous to think that. But we have thought of ourselves as one unified thing. We are unified under our own boundaries. But what's unification? Unification is diversification, respect for one another, peace, and solutions to create that amazing place. This is a beautiful country. So what do we want to do with that? Instead of fighting for our own rights and individualism, we're going to see a absolute shift into community, because we're going to realize if we don't do that, we will not survive. And we want to survive, right? Even though you are limitless and you never die, and everybody who's transitioned over to the other side is an amazing place. So, don't let your ego go, well, they're dead. No, they are an amazing place. We have the tough job here. Between now and 2024, we're going to have a lot of different things showing up. We're becoming immune to it, right? It's like, another whatever illness going around. Okay, you get it, you don't get it. And we're not fighting about it because it's not new anymore. We're actually learning how to live with this conflict, or these challenges, I should say. But what's going to happen is we're not going to accept them anymore. Remember I said that we're fed up? Well, we don't want to get into fed up where we stop caring. We want to say, you know what, I'm just tired of living this way, but I don't have to. I have to make a higher choice. 2024, you're going to see the things that have polluted our planet, created conflict, are going to no longer be acceptable, and there are going to be more solutions coming to the forefront. And the things that don't work, that other organizations or institutions have had control over, will no longer have control over it, because it's all going to collapse and dissolve. Because you know what? Negativity doesn't stay around for very long. Why? Because you cannot bring darkness into light. You can bring light into darkness, which creates light. And more light is going to come into that and say, it's not okay. But we're not going to fight with you anymore about that. We're going to show you something better and amazing. That's why I said we are not here to fix one another. You are here to be the support system for those who choose their own fixing, all right? And so that's a new way of looking at things. I'm not here to change your mind and tell you that you need to be awakened, because if I do that, I'm not awakened. I'm just, my ego's trying to make you change, because I'm not accepting that you have your own journey and it's perfect, exactly the way it is. But you will know that I'm here not to judge you, but to support you. And when you're ready and you want to come to me and talk about it, I will be there 100% for you. And that's going to be that non-participation I keep talking about. It's not I have to cure the world and fix it. I only have to raise the frequency of the planet, one light being at a time. There's just one, and it's just you. That's all you have to do. And if every single person did that, then you would never have to argue with anybody, because nobody's ever wrong. And every reality is real. So when you think something's right, you're right. When they think something's right that you argue with, they're right also. We get to create those realities. So the more of us who create the realities wherein we take full responsibility and we live it, you have to live it. 2024 is going to be less painful for most people, because they're going to welcome those changes. All right? So think about the things that could change in your life that you would have to give up. What is the result of that? What if you had to give up really toxic, rotten foods that are all packaged in plastic, which all that plastic, I don't know if you guys know this, goes into your body. Do you know how many plastic particles are in your food? If it's coming in contact with any kind of plastic, you're eating it. And we wonder why we're sick. And then we try to find a cure, right? We're finding a cure for all these diseases. What's at the foundation of it? We're going to the foundations of everything. So there's going to be a tipping point, and it's going to happen in 2024. 2024. You're going to see it in a lot of areas. Now, why can't I tell you specifically? And those of you who say you think you have the answers from some channeler out there, good luck. Because we can change anything, and it is a moving target, and that's why past predictions by some very talented people didn't come to pass, because we changed the future. And they've actually said, Nostradamus and Edgar Cayce said, nothing I say has to come to pass. You're in control. They're just reading the existing reality for the collective at that moment, all right? The one that we've chosen to share. So we can, as a collective, change any forecasted disaster. We can change any conflict. And when we, every day, instead of focusing on the conflict and the pain and going into fear, when you get up in the morning and the first thing you do is you send light and love to the planet, you send love to your enemies, because there aren't any. You send love and caring to all of those who are in conflict, to all of those who are making dense choices because they just don't know right now. They don't know. They are in ignorance. So you can't blame them. They haven't found that light. And unless we send that light into that dark room, it won't light up. And as long as you're shipping over negativity, you're making it darker and darker and darker. And that will fight. There will be struggle. They will fight. Because that's what the ego does. We are totally 100% responsible. And it's going to soften out. So 2024 could be some real drastic thing that might be like, all right, all these things are going to change about how we've been living, and it might seem painful for you, but not if you let go. You'll say, this is a new way of life, and it's a healthier one, and we're going to be living simpler lives. And you're going to see the difference in nature. You're going to see the difference in how people treat one another. You're going to see things happening out there that are more community-based, working together, visiting with one another, cooking together, creating gardens, crafts, and all kinds of things that are going to be so creative and beautiful, the way we should be living, to expand into that space of oneness. Watch out, and this video is going to be old real quick. You guys are going to hit that 2024, and you're going to look back and see this video, and you're going to know, oh my God, tipping points happening big time in that entire year. All right? We can soften them, prepare by living the healthy life now, by having the healthy thoughts, by having the compassion and the love, no more trying to change other people, being the demonstration of light, and that's how you change the world. Pray every day, send your light and love, see everyone as perfect, not as damaged goods that needs to change, but see the perfection in them. See the world as perfect. See that no one is going to go into conflict anymore. This will actually strengthen the change. And somebody someday is going to wake up and not want to hurt another person or steal or do something. Maybe they're going to say, you know what, there's another way. I don't know why I feel this, and it's going to be because of you. Are you ready for it? We'll talk more and more about this. Please subscribe. Those of you who want to create an online business, come on over. Let's create our own businesses. Let's make big choices. Let's get skills. Let's empower ourselves. Let's use technology, because we can reach global audiences with messages and beautiful, healthy products and services. We can do that here. Get all that other stuff out of your head. Everything is possible for you right now. And you have my free videos. I have a free masterclass, How to Break Through Fear. And it's an introduction. After an hour, you can learn so much, 4 proven steps. And then there's an introduction to the actual training itself. If you're interested in joining that, it's transforming lives like you wouldn't believe. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. We have lawn stuff going on out there. Thank you, noisy person with equipment that's making my lawn beautiful. Now I just have to get them to stop spraying chemicals out there. Blessings, my friend. Namaste.